My God is awesome. Heals me when I'm broken. Strength where I've been weakened. Praise His holy name.
Mr. Preacher Man, I don't want no trouble. I just came to praise and worship with my brothers, praying to the Lord and hoping He forgive us. I want God to save us, don't want the streets to kill us. I'm like Mr. Preacher Man, I don't want no trouble. I just came to praise and worship with my brothers, praying to the Lord and hoping He forgive us. I want God to save us, don't want the streets to kill us. I'm like Mr. Preacher Man, please don't be alarmed. We just come to pray, we don't mean no harm. I see how you're looking, of course we ain't perfect. We figured if we came to see Jesus it would be worth it. We live up the block, and I know you've seen us running from the cops. All this senseless killing, we won't let it stop. We want you to know, sir, if you don't let us in, we have no place to go, sir. Mr. Preacher Man, I don't want no trouble. I just came to praise and worship with my brothers, praying to the Lord and hoping He forgive us. I want God to save us, don't want the streets to kill us. I'm like Mr. Preacher Man, I don't want no trouble. I just came to praise and worship with my brothers, praying to the Lord and hoping He forgive us. I want God to save us, don't want the streets to kill us. I'm the Preacher Man, Bible in my hand. I'm so glad that you all came to church today, my friend. And yes, you all are welcomed as we seek His face. Here we like the organ, I know you like bass. That's okay, we love the same God. We may dress a little different, but love the same God. And our issues may be different, but love the same God. We want you to know, sir, that we will love you, not judge you, and want you to grow, sir. Mr. Preacher Man, I don't want no trouble. I just came to praise and worship with my brothers, praying to the Lord and hoping He forgive us. I want God to save us, don't want the streets to kill us. I'm like Mr. Preacher Man, I don't want no trouble. I just came to praise and worship with my brothers, praying to the Lord and hoping He forgive us. I want God to save us, don't want the streets to kill us. Now watch me, watch me, watch me, watch me, watch me, watch me, watch me worship. Now watch me, watch me, watch me, watch me, watch me, watch me, watch me worship. Now watch me, watch me, watch me, watch me, watch me, watch me, watch me worship. Now watch me, watch me, watch me, watch me, watch me, watch me, watch me worship. Mr. Preacher Man, I don't want no trouble. I just came to praise and worship with my brothers, praying to the Lord and hoping He forgive us. I want God to save us, don't want the streets to kill us. I'm like Mr. Preacher Man, I don't want no trouble. I just came to praise and worship with my brothers, praying to the Lord and hoping He forgive us. I want God to save us, don't want the streets to kill us. Oh, nah, nah, nah. I don't want no trouble. I just come to worship. Oh, nah, nah, nah. I just come to worship. I just come to worship. Now watch me, watch me, watch me, watch me, watch me, watch me, watch me worship. Now watch me, watch me, watch me, watch me.
Connecting the community through gospel.
The new 107.9 FM, W300EB.
Macon and WDDO 980 AM.
Perry.
Macon. Connecting the community through gospel.
The new 107.9 FM, W300EB.
Macon and WDDO 980 AM.
Perry.
Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Right.
Ask Elaine where it's raining. It's so wet out there. Y'all please be careful. Anyway, y'all be careful in driving. Want to say that there's some things going on in the community that this engineer, I need your help. See. Um, now you know, got a little reverb. Now you know every week they have a plan in place so that I don't blow up the station. So whatever that plan is, get it, because something's not quite together with the sound, but it's this engineer's gonna get it straight. I hope everybody can hear. See, he's on it. Yeah, let's see. Um, we want to welcome all of you who are on AM, FM. Are the headphones connected? Because I can't hear myself. Okay, if you're in the chat, let us know if you can. Let's see if you can hear us. We don't want you to miss not one word of Ask Elaine. Okay. He's working. He's working, y'all. If you're on with Facebook Live, let us know if you can hear us. Because I promise you, I did not do anything to the station. Promise you, my hands have been folded in front of me.
Definitely want the station here.
Yes, we do. We do. Um, okay, says everyone can see and hear you. All right, Pastor Lisa, if you're okay, Ms. Goff says that she can, they can hear us. So okay, I can't hear myself, but but I know I'm talking. So, welcome to Ask Elaine. Thank you so much for tuning in. You know, it's Wednesday. We said already it's raining,
It's
it's wet
raining.
outside. Y'all be careful in driving. Um, we want to welcome Shirley Lester. Good afternoon to you. And also to Ms. Goff, who has joined us. Our special guest today is none other, and you'll see him in just a minute, but it's none other than Mr. George Crawley
Yes.
with the Tubman Museum, and that's his main focus today. But he's also going to talk about some community events outside of the Tubman that he's actively involved with and has been for a long, long time.
Yes.
I started to hear myself a minute ago. Okay. All right. Okay, maybe with the weather, we're getting that little static. I promise you, I didn't touch a thing. Yeah, I didn't touch anything. Your senator sends his greetings. He is actively on duty for us in the state senate.
The governor gave a joint speech today,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, he did. It's kind of loud. They turned it down just a little bit.
Like
I,
technical.
I know what, hey, I'm not technical at all. And so y'all just be patient because they're working to make sure everything's in order. Um, Thank you all who are on Facebook Live for giving us clues and telling us what's going on because we do know that things happen. But while we're waiting to get everything together, we've already greeted you, and I've already told you who our special guest is going to be. We're also waiting for Pastor. Yes, I can. I can hear myself. Yes. Our special co host is going to be none other than Pastor Larry Dunning, and we are waiting for him to arrive. And when he does, we know that he's going to have some interesting things to tell us and some things to ask. We want to thank our sponsors. We don't always get a chance to thank them, but we want to thank Senator Lucas, former Mayor Jack Ellis, DA Anita Reynolds Howard, who will be our special guest very soon. Black Voters Matter supports this program, the Energy Foundation, and we're going to have some folks on. Someone from Georgia Power, come on in, Pastor. There's your. We got your chair all warmed up over there for you. Welcome, welcome. And the Energy Foundation, we're going to have someone from Georgia Power very soon who's going to talk to us about what's going on as far as energy, what you need to know as far as providing power at your home and how you can go about saving, and then what's new as far as energy in our nation. So that's going to be an interesting series of informational um, interviews. And then Sheriff David Davis, we want to thank him as always. We want to remind you that next year is a big year for elections. Not only will there be a race, the mayor's race, it comes around so fast. This is the third year of this 4 year term for us who serve on the commission and
That's
the
right.
mayor. And so everybody starts declaring pretty quickly.
Right.
It won't be long before people start talking about what they're going to run for.
Mhm.
But there will be the race for mayor. All nine of the other commissioners, those seats will be up for election. And then we also have the presidential preference primary,
Already?
and it will be next year, but it will be in either February or March
Okay.
because there's a
Okay.
move to have Georgia to vote earlier
Oh wow.
than we normally do in the presidential preference primary. Then, of course, there are other state
Right. Right.
seats, state rep seats, state senate seats that you'll be voting in. The state rep, state senators run every other year.
Okay. Okay.
So Senator Lucas runs every
Every other
other
year.
year.
That's a lot of work.
So, it's a lot of work. And he has like eight counties. So anyway, um, but also the presidential election will take place, and very soon you've already had some people to announce. And watch all of these folks. Keep up with what's going on.
Follow the
It's
money.
gonna be so important. This
Yes.
2024 elections are going to be the most consequential. That's what a lot of people are saying. Going to be the most consequential that we have had in a long, long time. It's going to determine whether we're going to continue going upward
Right.
and whether all people will be included
Right.
in
Right.
government
Right.
or whether it's going the other way.
Right.
So we want you to keep that in mind. As far as our condolences, we have one. Our hearts are so heavy, and I know Pastor Lisa and some others who were so very close to this young lady, Arletta Glover Brown,
Right.
passed away.
Yes.
That's Reverend Walter Glover's sister.
Mm.
Um, uh, Dr. Beverly Glover's sister in law. This young lady was so musically talented, such a sweet person, such a nice person. Um, you hate to lose very, very nice people, productive people. But we want to express our condolences to the family and friends of the late Arletta Glover Brown, who passed away couple of days ago,
Right.
and I think our services are incomplete. We want to congratulate those who got married. We understand Wanye Reese, one of the
What? Oh,
morning
yes.
anchors.
In New Orleans,
And
right?
yeah, and on
It must be
Facebook.
nice.
See, y'all need
Must
to
be
be on
nice.
Facebook because you find out all this and get to see the pictures and everything. Hello, D.O. Oliver. Thank you for joining us. You get to see all the beautiful wedding pictures and all of this. We want to express congratulations to Wanye and his new bride, Amber, I believe. She is a Board of Health
Oh,
employee.
no, she's
She's in
good
the
looking.
healthcare. Yeah, she's a pretty girl. Healthcare profession, and we want to wish them all the years of happiness that they deserve. If families have had babies, we want to congratulate you. And also, we want to congratulate WDDO for having that um, ball that they had on Saturday. I was planning to make it, but I could not make it. I just couldn't get there. And so, but I'm going to be at next year's. Well, they said, if the Lord's willing and the creek
Creek
don't
don't
rise.
rise. Creek don't rise.
But I saw some pictures and I understand they had a really, really good time. Real good time. Now, Mr. Engineer, if you could get our other two guests up so that people will see our other two guests. And we once again are going to welcome D.O. Oliver, Shirley Lester, Jeanette Goff. And we know we have many, many others who are listening on AM, FM, and who are on Facebook Live who never say anything,
They're watching
never
and they're
check in,
listening.
but they're watching and
They're listening.
listening.
That's the thing.
So, our two special guests today are Mr. George Crowley, who today is representing the Tubman Museum, and he's also the West Side Neighbors
Chairperson and founder.
chairperson of
Yes.
that organization,
Yes.
and they stay busy all the time, and
Yes,
they've
ma'am.
made significant progress in this area.
Yes, we
in the
have. We're
Napier
very
Avenue
thankful
area.
for it too. We're very
Yeah.
thankful because it's not easy work. Anytime you're
It's
working for
not.
the people, the biggest surprise you have is who's against you.
Well, you just, that's a given. You know there are going to be some people who don't understand.
Man, they don't
They're-
understand that we the people need to be activated, and we need to get off our assets and get out there and use our assets to build our community back. Unionville is very important to us, and so, and if you don't mind, I just want to thank the mayor and Dr. Fickling for initiating a plan to actually recreate and redevelop Unionville as a neighborhood. So we have that meeting coming up, and of course we have our monthly meeting, and of course all condolences to the Glover family. We will have our next meeting at Greater Zion Hill Baptist Church on February 9th at 6 p.m. I'm looking for a Black History Month guest to speak. Would you be so willing?
Uh, Let's talk. Let's talk about that.
Caught you off guard, but yeah, but
Yeah, yeah.
we would like we meet every Monday, every second Monday of every month. We didn't
Uh-huh.
have a meeting in December, but we will have our regular
Uh-huh.
scheduled meeting.
Uh-huh. When you get a chance, if you put in the chat
Yes,
the when the meetings take place, the name of the organization. Our stats person is Patrick Davis. When we have topics going on here in discussion, Patrick does our research for us. When we were in the midst of the elections, Patrick pulled up the stats for us, told us who had voted, who hadn't voted, all of that. Patrick, if you could get for us the dates, I've been promising everybody I was going to show them. Yes. I told everybody I was going to tell them about the elections for 2024. I tried to Google it, but I wasn't able to pull up
sometimes
a list.
maybe the
They're
state's office is
behind.
a
Oh,
little slow.
they are
They're
very
trying to listen to the
slow.
governor right now.
I guess so. I think he's finished. He should be finished. He started at 11 o'clock this morning with a joint session.
Mhm.
The House and the Senate were both they were combined over on the House side, and he gave, I believe, his budget
He
message
did. He
this
gave his
morning.
budget message, and he wants to emphasize on education with the surplus this year.
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
think
Patrick has noted in the chat a news article about Unionville and about what you were talking about.
yes,
So, those of you who are on with us on Facebook Live can go to that news article and read a few extra details. Patrick has also included in the chat information on the Tubman, the
yes.
link
Okay.
to the
Thank you, Mr.
Tubman.
Patrick.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, and our other special guest is Pastor Larry Dunning. And so, Pastor, if you want to start us off with something that you want to share with us, we're going to talk mainly today about the Tubman Museum, what they've been doing, and what they will be doing, especially during Black History Month. But welcome.
Glad to be here. I got behind a school bus. I guess this.
Oh, I understand.
Getting
I
home was
understand.
more important than getting here, but I'm glad I'm here. I apologize for being late.
Okay. Okay.
But I had
Well,
the opportunity today to go with Herbert and Art to the Bibb County jail. And we
uh-huh.
were talking to the young men about changing their life. The Just Walk Away program was a
Mm-hmm.
positive program. I've seen you there and supporting it.
Right.
And I got a chance to tell them one of the things that came up was education. You got to vote and you got to have some spiritual connection to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got more out of it than maybe I imparted. Just to know we were trying to get people to stop the violence and walk away. We've
Yeah,
had
yeah.
70 homicides in this city, and the sad part,
Last year.
Commissioner,
Last right.
is the people that come back. You know, they keep coming, and we've learned a lot about people. What's on the inside? There's a lot of
You'll
noise.
pull that mic
Okay,
up to you.
there's a
So
lot of noise inside of them, but we just got to work on the people and give them hope. What I heard, Commissioner, was a lack of hope. Our communities need hope to say, I can turn it around. I may have been slapped a couple of times or a lot of times in life, but you can make it. You can turn it around because if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at will change. And that's what I tried to share with them because you can make a difference in people's life. And
right.
people like you, uh, a great speaker, sir, and she is
I don't
awesome.
know
She
about
is
that.
my favorite.
I don't know
Well,
She's
about
my
all
favorite
we
public
love it
servant.
when she comes to our meetings.
She is an asset to this
Yes,
community, and I kind of hate that she's about to step down because
yes.
of the Constitution. But anyway,
Well, I don't have a choice. I'm term
I
limited.
know I was just
So when y'all voted in consolidation,
we did not.
The
you
worst thing
voted
for
in.
us, the worst thing for the people.
Not only did you vote for
Yes,
consolidation,
ma'am.
but you also voted for some maps that gave us a disadvantage.
Yes.
And you also voted for term limits And
Yes,
you
ma'am.
also voted for nonpartisan elections where people can run and
Yes.
they can be a member of the Ku Klux Klan and they don't have to say what party they're affiliated with.
I think that happened.
So I think it
It
did
happened.
happen.
We had some folks who were way on
Oh,
that right
listen,
side.
you would not
And
believe
it's
who's
been,
serving.
yes, it's
And
very sad.
maybe you would if you watch the national scene, you will see. I never thought that there would be KKK folks up in
Hmm.
white. Well, yeah, they've always been. They always been, and some of them were Democrats.
Yeah, they were.
They were, but I interrupted you.
No, no, I'm just going to say I just can't see Macon be operating without you on that commission. But it is true, right?
Yes, I serve. I have 2 more years on this final term
Hmm.
I just can't believe it either.
on the commission. And so we've got to start, and I've already invited people to shadow the position. You don't have to shadow me, but
Hmm.
shadow the
Position,
position.
So you
yeah.
understand
Find
what
out,
happens.
look at
Right.
what our duties are, read the charter
Hmm.
first, and
Mhm.
you'll be amazed at what you can do and what you can't do and
Right.
where the power lies.
Right.
And everybody needs to go into office with their eyes wide open. And I have said a number of times, I am not supporting anybody who just steps up like today and says, I want to run. I'm not supporting you
Right.
unless I know
Right.
of your service and your
Right. Right.
commitment.
Right.
And I know that you're not already bought and
Right.
paid for.
Hmm.
Right. We have too many of
Uh,
those people up there
oh,
already. They just
oh
jump
boy.
up. They want to run. Oh, they have a good look, but when you ask them questions, they don't have any
They
answers
don't
for you.
have a clue.
They
Don't
smile.
have a clue.
They
You
don't
at
have
least need to know the qualifications because you might be too young or well, there's no such thing as
Too
too old,
old,
but
yeah.
you might be too young. There are a lot of things that you need to
Right.
do in preparation, and we're going to get Kimberly Carter to offer
She's
a
excellent.
session on
Yes.
running for
Yes.
office. For
Yes.
those
Yes.
folks who are interested in running, they can attend that session and at least find out what the process
Right.
is.
And I have something
Mhm.
to say. Even if you're not running for office, if you're interested in your government, go down and get that charter and read what's going on. I had a relative yesterday who was upset about their trash getting picked up.
Uh-huh.
And I'm trying to explain the process for the trash and also the process for why they're only picking up so much trash on the street.
Uh-huh.
And they got upset. They said, "Why can't they just pick up my trash?" I said, "Well, let's start off with reading who's responsible for your trash."
Right. Right.
and,
People have to know.
yeah, and it's not as simple as it used to be.
Right.
You can call down to the city and they can just send somebody out because they already have someone en route or
Right.
someone
Right.
it's not there anymore.
That's why I voted against the contract
Yes,
for garbage
right.
because we were, first of all, releasing a function,
Yes,
turning over a function of government
that we control.
to somebody else
Right,
to let them run it. We pay them millions and millions of dollars,
right.
and then we were turning it over to them with not a whole lot of oversight. And I know, Pastor, you're familiar
Hmm.
with that. Um, and the other thing is, we had a plan. There was a plan that was already in place that to keep it in house,
Right.
and it would have worked,
Well,
but
I don't
folks who were in charge decided they wanted to
to
privatize it, and we had a real mess. And the last several years that it's we've been playing catch up,
right, right,
trying to get
right.
something in place that will work.
Well, trash is a moneymaker. And so you took, with when the water authority left the city of Macon, that's a moneymaker.
Well, yeah, the
That's
legislature
yeah,
put
yeah,
separated
yeah.
things.
But but your operations for services, trash is a moneymaker. That's why
Mhm.
everyone wants to jump up to get the
Right,
Macon City of Macon's
right.
trash.
Recycling.
Yeah, recycling
Mhm.
and so many other services. I worked for a period of time for Public Works in Atlanta.
Mhm.
I knew what kind of money we brought in there. When I ended up at City Hall, I was astonished.
Yeah.
But it's a cash cow if you know how to.
Yeah.
Excuse me, that's the wrong word. But it could bring it's a
Brings
potential
a
end.
lot of money
It
out.
brings in a lot of money as well as the airport.
Uh-huh.
Airport's important to a city. That's why
Yeah,
you.
and we've got it contracted
I,
out too. It's a number of things that are going on. We want to welcome Maria Bryant. We've already welcomed Patrick Davis. Ricky Crawford is with us, and Sherry Shannon Miller, who is going to join me at All That Jazz. She and her
oh
husband,
yes, we're
Reverend
gonna have
Miller,
a great
going to
time
be
this
there
weekend.
with us Saturday evening, and we're going to talk about that. I promise you before we get out of
Can
here.
I make one
But
statement on the?
Pastor, I know you want to say something
Thank you.
about this trash
I do
thing.
because I worked for waste management before I went to the
Right.
city of Macon as the assistant public works director.
Yes.
And the meetings I had with with Mayor Rickett was you want to control your environment.
Yes.
It is a big capital investment to
Yes.
do landfills because
Yes.
we operate in landfill with no liner,
Right.
which is almost ungodly.
Right.
But the thing is, you put the money up front and you control that.
Right.
What happened with me with folk on the city council and ultimately the commission, when they would call, when this lady called,
Right.
when Commissioner Lucas called and said, I need you to move this trash, I promise you, the question in the house was, do you want me to let it disappear? It's going to be disappearing. And that's what you had. You had somebody available.
Right.
And when I brought the whole issue up, Mayor Ricketts said, we're looking at which one is more profit. I said, hey, you can't be a profit center when you're a service
No,
center.
no.
Because when they make a phone call, any department make a phone call, we were there to
Right.
pick it up.
Right.
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 Even if it was
right.
after the hours,
Right.
it got up that
Right.
day.
Right.
Especially if it's the mayor call or city council call or commission call.
Anyone calls.
It moved.
Yeah,
It
you
moved.
took care of emergency
Well,
type
right.
well,
things. You
well.
could-
Right
you
now
could
we
do
don't.
that.
Right now we don't have access to anything that deals with any type of particular. If the truck overturns on the highway and knocks trash everywhere, who's responsible for picking it up? What's the process for it? How long does it take?
Well, see, that's above my pay grade. I
But
don't know
I'm
how
just saying.
that
But
works. I understand. I
and so
understand.
we have trash that we have called in up and down these streets. If
That's
you leave
right.
here, and you go 2 blocks down, it looks like something off of some third world
Well,
country.
the public works department is skeletal.
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
just it's nowhere near anywhere near what it used to
That's
be.
right.
And so, like as you have said, Pastor, the whole operation,
Mhm.
it can't react to
It can't.
those situations. There are not enough
Not enough
people.
staff.
Now Ryland has come in. That's the company that picks up household garbage. They have come in and they've dug us out of a real deep hole.
Mhm.
We had a terrible situation
Right.
going on with the garbage. So at least they have worked
Yeah.
to get us. That's all we have
Mhm.
Right.
because we contracted and we
Well,
continue to do that.
and I like
All
their
the
services.
equipment's gone, everything's gone. You know, a few people working there, so it's not feasible to go back to the full service as we had. But we should have left it
Yeah.
the way that it
Right.
was.
And then and they offer opportunities for people who are here in town to work in town and to have a career
Mhm.
and to have a pension.
Right,
You know,
right,
that city
right.
pension.
Well, I want to say to people who are interested in one of those hot careers, and we like to talk about the careers that you need to be looking at for the
Right.
future.
Right.
Anybody who goes into waste disposal
Yes.
as a career, you have a lifetime career
Mhm.
with good earnings.
Yes.
Anybody who goes into healthcare,
Yes.
the healthcare field,
Yes.
that is a hot career,
Yes.
and you will get a job before you finish your training. Anybody who is in education,
Yes.
because last time I looked, folks still having children,
They sure are.
and still and grandchildren, and everything like me.
Good.
But anyway, and so education is going to be one of those fields
Right.
that we're always going to need people in.
Right.
So if you're interested in working with children or younger children, older children, post high school, then education is one of those hot topics. CDL, if you're interested in driving
Man,
trucks,
Yes. Yes. That's a
that
good one.
is, and you don't want to go to college.
Yeah.
You
Right.
just want to go and get the training and
Right.
go to work.
Right.
They've dredged the port of Savannah, made
Yes.
it deeper.
Yes. Number
And
one
and
port.
all of these goods come
It's
in
gotta
on
come
these
in.
ships.
Yes.
And most of the stuff that most of the ship is below the water.
Right.
That you see above the water, that's nothing. Most of the ship is below the water with all of those goods from
Wow.
all around the world.
Wow.
They need some trucks
To
to
move the
load that stuff up and
move
move it
Yes.
inland.
Right.
If you are interested in transportation, then get out of school, get your CDL, or get a truck, get your own trucking
Yes.
company. And there
Yes.
are some folks in Macon who have started a trucking company, and
Yes.
they're doing very, very well. Somebody in the ambulance service
Mm.
business too, transporting
Hmm.
folks to doctors and all that.
Yes.
That's another
That's a very good one.
career.
I know
All of
someone.
these are hot careers that people ought to be looking at. Everybody does not need to go to college for 4 years, and then sometimes you end up in not making it through, and then you got to regroup.
Right.
So counselors need to be working with students
They should be.
more. I was a counselor, so I know that there's
I
some
heard you a
good
good one
ones.
too.
Look, we worked with some folks. That was our job. That's what they paid us for. But so, unfortunately, some people don't care
Right.
a whole lot.
Right.
They don't care whether they do the job or not, as long as they get that check. But the counselors need to be doing the job of pointing these young folks in the right direction
Right.
so that they can have a career. And they also need to have our young folks developing the skills that will get you in a job
Right.
and keep you in a job, like timeliness, being on time.
Being on
Being
time.
on time.
Wow.
I believe me, I would.
Being dressed
I would.
appropriately.
Said it though.
Being on time,
Dressed appropriately.
dressing appropriately, yeah. Not having tattoos all over your body. Nobody's gonna hire you
Right,
with
right.
all of that. I wonder what the athletes are gonna do. All those that have tattoos all over them. What are they gonna do when after their 4 or 5 years
No one's planned that out with
in the
them.
pros? That's what the average time in the pros is.
Oh,
What are they gonna do?
what they gonna do with that money?
But what are they gonna do? I mean, they're gonna want
Face,
to
yeah.
do
Right.
something else.
Right. Right.
And if you got,
They don't
I
think
don't,
about that. They're
I
not.
don't.
There's not a foresight in that. There's just the moment. I'm playing ball. I'm making that money.
Well, these folks have agents. They have advisors. They need to. Somebody needs to tell them there is life after
Football.
sports.
Yeah.
After your professional career.
Yes.
Very few people last as long as Tom Brady or
No, you're right.
some of the
Reggie
ones
Jackson.
who've been there a long time. That's rare. Most professional
About
athletes
3 years.
3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
And
And then they're paid at the
there's
minimum
life.
too. They're not paid multiples of millions of dollars. You make the entry level
Right.
pay.
Right.
You know.
And then there's the rest of your life.
Right. You have to figure out what you're going to do.
And so but I like sharing that kind of information because our young people have to have something to do.
Right.
They have to have something, or the forces of evil are out there to grab them and give them something to do. And we are losing every day. We have folks, our young folks dying, our
Yes.
folks going to jail. We're losing two or three at a time. One is shooting and killing a couple of others.
Right. Right.
Their family is grieving, they're gone,
Right.
and then the one who did the crime
Right.
is gone
And,
as well.
and the sad part about it is most times whatever the issue is something that could have been resolved by a simple
Very
conversation. It's very small. It's not nothing where you did something to someone else.
Right.
These people are angry, and they're reacting immediately, or they can't deal with rejection. The rejection of the girl or the guy who says, "I'm not talking to you,"
Yeah.
or "This is the reality." They don't want to accept it, and so
Yeah.
so it's real sad.
So we've got a lot of work to do. The Macon Violence Prevention has so many different organizations that have received grants to work with the community.
Yeah.
And we look forward very soon to having Jeremy Grissom, who is the director of Macon Violence Prevention, to come back on and talk to us about the successes. Because I know that
That's
there's
good.
some success,
That's
and
good.
it's your federal monies that are
Yes.
being used to fund these different entities.
Yes.
So I know you'll be interested in that. Pastor, you have anything else to add
No,
to?
I just want to look forward to the hope for the community, so that people who are on the low end of life can find a way upwardly. So
Okay, okay. And we're just so happy that you were able to join us today.
I'm just
Thank you.
delighted.
Now we're going to talk. Black History Month is coming up. It's February just got here. You notice that, Patrick? February just got here, and Patrick has posted something on jobs too
Thank you,
in the
Brother Patrick.
chat, and so but anyway, George Crawley,
Yes.
um, Black History Month is February. It's the shortest month,
The
but
shortest month. We
we
celebrate
celebrate it
every day.
year round
Every
with
day is Black History. Every month.
MLK
Yes.
365.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Yes, ma'am.
we do that, and we need to do that because our children are forgetting our
Our
history if they
children,
were
but
ever exposed.
we have government agencies that are saying that we can now teach some of our Black history in the schools.
Nut DeSantis just said that an AP advanced placement
Right, right.
Black history could not be taught in the Florida
That is crazy.
system.
That is crazy.
He is nuttier than Trump. He knows more. He's
Right.
more dangerous
Right.
because he does know a little bit more. But I'm ready for the fight between him and Trump. Uh, you know, his Trump turned all those documents.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
turn. I know
Has
he
he
hadn't
turned
done. He
everything?
hadn't done anything.
Look,
He says he's not planning to either.
Fonnie Willis in Atlanta, and these others, and that girl up in that sister up in New York. They are not playing
The
with
sister in
them.
New York is not playing at all.
Not
I like
playing, not
her,
playing.
that attorney general there.
And all those who want to see Trump go to jail with all of his buddies and all of those ugly children of his, raise your hand.
Oh Lord.
All right. Now we'll get back to
Let me get to the toughest stuff.
I said what I
Let
said.
me talk about
The reason why you have the Trump and DeSantis is because they have a coalition that backs them. I really don't think they're that deeply evil. I think there are people who are evil that push them along, and they must push them along. So they only do that for political reasons.
Well, you're very nice, sir.
They know
Yeah,
they know they're gonna
nice.
get the votes. You can't be that evil, can you?
Yes.
Yes, some people can.
Yes, you can. Anybody who, after a law is passed, that people who were felons
Right.
could register to vote.
Right.
They were allowed to register
Here
to
we come.
vote.
We
The
have our
state
chance.
said you can register to vote.
Right.
You register, you get your card, you vote, and then the governor sends people out, police out to arrest you
Not.
in your underwear
That's evil.
because
inhuman.
claiming that you committed voter fraud. That is evil.
Ask my question. Why do they put them back in office? Because there are a lot of people that feel the same way.
You're right. You're right. There are, because Trump got how many millions of votes? 7 million.
It's
And thank goodness Biden got 9 million.
He got 9 million.
Thank
we
goodness.
came to our senses.
But
Some
you
people
got to
came.
be ready.
Yes.
And this election coming up next year, that's why we're talking about it. And we're going to be talking about it.
Well, people need
every
information and they
week.
need to understand. Like I said, if you have a chance, go down and ask Ms. Ross, order a copy of the charter and actually read it. And read it for understanding. All elections are local. Everything that they are proving on the state and the federal level starts locally and it affects us directly.
That's right.
It affects us
That's
directly,
right.
even down to our funding with our mental health services, with the homeless services, our highways. Everything comes right back to us. If we don't elect the right people to office, we have what we have right now here in Macon.
Right.
And that's a lack of services.
That's right. That's right. And those of you who don't like who's in office or whatever the level, you still have the power
Mhm.
wherever, whether you voted for them or not, they still represent you.
That's
I don't
right.
care what the level is. So you demand
Right.
your rights. You demand that they do the job because when they were begging you for your vote,
Right.
they were
They
promising
right.
all of these things.
And,
So you need to demand that they handle
Mhm.
I want to make
that
sure I say one
business.
thing too. We have 9 commissioners, right? All nine
Yeah,
commissioners represent all citizens and constituents and people, stakeholders who are part of making Bibb County. Um, there is a there are 2 commissioners I know of right now who have actually told people who were interested in services, "Well, I'm not your commissioner," or "I don't want to receive a phone call from you," and that is not acceptable. Every person who's a voting citizen, whether you're voting or not, is, and whoever's a citizen here in this city, they represent you, even if they're elected
right,
to your direct district.
right.
They represent you. If you make a phone call to them and they're not calling you back in a way that you feel is respectable, make sure you're part of the
Yeah,
coalition to get them out of
yeah.
office.
Well, the way that you do that is people call me from all over everywhere. Um, and what I do is I tell them I'm not your commissioner,
But
but
yes,
I am happy to get your information. Or sometimes I will go on conference call
right,
with them with a customer service
right,
and let them give
right,
their information, the
right.
details, so they can get the
That's
service,
that's
and I let them know who their commissioner is
right.
so that they can
They
get
can
their
interact with that commissioner.
right,
But
right.
well, we have
But
people, we have commissioners that are telling citizens not to call them.
well, they really don't need to be in office. I don't know who that is, and I
I
don't
can't
care.
name names
I
right
don't
now.
care, but they don't need to be. You don't ever need to tell a citizen that. You can share with them that you are not the
Right,
commissioner for the area,
right.
but you're still elected to serve.
I
And
understand that.
so
I understand with the oath of
that's
office too.
yeah, yeah. Um, was Lester imps and trumpeters or everywhere, everywhere? And Patrick has included the article on the Florida man, one of them who
Right, who was
was,
arrested?
I think there were like 10 or 20
It's
people
horrible.
on the list. And
That
after he got his publicity off of it, he stopped. By the way, all of those people have had those charges
right,
dropped
right. But the
too.
point of it is that they were arrested and they were
Yeah,
humiliated,
arrested and
and
scare
right,
people
it's a
of
scare
this.
Other
tactic
people.
Uh
because
huh.
that rumor that hush rumor
That's
is
right.
going to move faster.
Who wants to be arrested
I don't want to take the
because you're
chance.
voting?
Right, you could lose
So
your job,
yeah,
lose, you could go to jail for, anything could happen.
right. Patrick has also included the Information College Board to revise AP African American Studies class that was rejected
Right.
by DeSantis.
Mhm.
Wow.
I mean, anyway, let's move on to because see,
Yeah,
I can get
it's
bogged
okay
down. I don't
because
want to get angry
I'm just
Don't
saying
get
today.
you got the
I'm
less.
feeling good about Black
Yeah,
History
you got the
Month.
Lester Maddox, you got the George Wallace. They play to that group.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Maria Bryant says that we need to set up classes or why we vote and explain what each position is about.
I like that.
Let's do that,
I like that.
Maria. Let's
I
do it.
want to do that.
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll join together. We
yeah.
got
I
the
like
churches, we've got the
West Side neighbors.
West Side Neighbors,
Yeah.
we've got Bibb County Voters League and
Yes.
NAACP, and
And the People's
Gwinnett
Agenda.
Westbrook and the People's Agenda.
Yes.
That's right. Gwinnett Westbrook is retired now, so she's ready to
She says she's
roll.
ready to do some
She read.
stuff.
Oh, she's been doing it. She's been doing it. Okay, we're gonna talk about the Tubman
We're gonna
Museum
get
and
to the
Black
Tubman.
History
Okay.
Month.
Um, you
Go
want me?
ahead and tell us about the things that the Tubman has already
Well, I want to first of
done.
all celebrate and thank everyone for their participation in our first Jubilee celebration. This past Monday, King Day, January 16th, it was so exciting. I mean, I really cried. I ain't gonna tell no lie. I had a little water in my eyes
Uh
because
huh.
we had a good time
Uh huh.
that Monday. We not only did we show the King miniseries, we had a group of we had the King miniseries. Remember, they filmed the miniseries King
Uh huh.
here in Macon way back in the day.
That's
I was
right.
probably seven
That's
or eight
right.
years old. And
Mount Olive Church was pictured. I think the doors
the doors at
were
Mount Olive,
used
I
in
think the
the.
piano at Turner Tabernacle, and
Uh
a
huh.
couple of other places were part of that movie. And it was filmed here in Macon and Atlanta. A
Mhm.
4 hour movie. A
Uh huh.
4 hour movie. People actually came from other counties, including Macon, and watched that movie at the Tubman.
Mhm.
I was
Mhm.
so, I mean, they were like, George, ain't nobody coming to that. People
That's
came and they
yeah.
watched it. They went out to eat. They did things during the day. Then they came back and watched the rest of it
Yeah.
and stayed for the Jubilee celebration. We had a fabulous time. I want to also thank Minister Tanya Parker.
Yeah.
She hosted our first youth summit we've had in a long time that was hosted by the Tubman Museum. That King Day Summit, she had about 40 odd people there. And there were teenagers there, preteens, and we had a mixed crowd. It wasn't just black folks. It was folks from
Mhm.
all different um,
Mhm.
nationalities there. We had a wonderful breakfast that morning. The drive-in, it was too cold for the drive-in, so everyone came in.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was hosted by Reverend Pennybacker. But the
Uh huh.
highlight of the day, of course, was the Jubilee celebration. And I want to make sure I thank Mike Glenn. Mike Glenn with the Atlanta Hawks, his collection of
Mhm.
Emancipation Proclamation documents, artifacts, all types of things that you. I remember seeing that when I was a kid. That's what we
Uh
were
huh.
going through. People just with their mouths dropped open.
Yeah.
He has been very gracious to our city. He's been coming here to Macon and with Stanley Stewart, the Stewart Communications, offering lectures to some of the schools, middle schools. He presented to the kids during the summer during Heritage Camp. But he kept saying he had these books he wanted to show.
Mhm.
So he came down and showed Harold, Jeff, and I some of the things he had, and we said, well, we have to have this as an exhibit. So we wanted to do a short-term exhibit and have a watch night service. And what happened? Unfortunately, Mr. Glenn suffered a stroke
Oh.
right before Christmas. So unfortunately, he has not been able to come back to see his exhibit at the Tubman. And we had to reschedule the whole show and reschedule the program. And so we say, well, what's the best way to do this? We can't have a watch night service. We want Mr. Glenn to participate. And so we decided we'd move it back to King Day. And so at 3 p.m. on King Day, we celebrated the Emancipation Proclamation. This year marks the 160th anniversary of the Emancipation Proclamation.
Mm.
It is an amazing document that gives everyone in those 10 Confederate states the rights,
To vote.
no, the right, not to vote, but they're no longer enslaved.
Enslaved.
Right.
Enslaved. So that with that document, President Lincoln thought that those former slaves would become part of the Union Army, which they did.
Mhm.
Mm.
A lot of them they were marked as contraband. They marched with the Union soldiers. They followed the Union
Mhm.
soldiers, and they became Union. They became Unionists. They became they joined the
Yeah.
army,
So
and
yeah.
they fought, and that helped the Union, the United States, to actually win against the Confederacy, those brothers and sisters. So we celebrated that with Joel Chambliss,
Mm.
the Bell sisters,
Mhm.
Angela Porter Glover, and a host of political folks such as Pam White Colbert, Judge Pam White Colbert, and others. They all spoke, and we took
That
what
was great.
it
That's
was
good.
really it was
That was
fun.
great.
It was fun. We took.
Did you
Um,
video that? Did y'all
I wish
video
we
that?
had.
We'll see.
Uh,
Make a note.
I
Make a
wish we had.
note.
three.
Any
We had.
future event.
We have to video because
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was one of
Let's
those.
go on. We're gonna run out of time. We
Uh,
always do
I know
when
we.
there's a wonderful topic like this. But we need to know
Yes.
about you've got an event
Yes.
fundraiser
Yes.
coming up
Yes.
Saturday night.
Yes.
We need to know about that, and then a quick rundown
Okay.
of the other things that will be going on during February. We might need to have you back
I don't mind
to
at all.
during February.
I don't mind at
Go
all.
ahead.
Okay, so this Saturday we have Sheila E. If those of you all who are Sheila E. and Prince fans, I'm about to scream sitting here thinking about Sheila E. I'm ready. I'm ready for Saturday night. We do still have some balcony seats that are available. Those balcony seats are $50 and $75. I'm not sure about the floor seats, but the floor seats run about $200-300. Those floor seats include dinner, and usually the performer sort of meanders their way
Yeah.
down to the floor with us. So we're looking forward to that. And then after that, the catering is catered by Dab's Cafe.
Dabs is delicious.
They said the
right.
food was
Best
off the
pork
chain
chops.
last year.
Oh, listen, it was wonderful.
Yes,
It was wonderful.
I hate I missed last year. And then afterwards, of course, we have AJ the DJ for the after party. This is the 26th, 27th year for All That Jazz. It is our premier fundraiser at the Tubman Museum. We need all the support we can get from everyone.
Mhm.
And so, if you do not have a ticket for Sheila E., or if you want to buy something special for your partner or your mate, please get tickets to Sheila E. this weekend. The tickets can be purchased through Ticketmaster for those balcony seats. If you want dinner on that floor, you're going to have to call seven four
It's
three
just a great
eight five
event.
four four.
It's just a great,
And he
and
post
Patrick
has already
has
posted it.
already
Hey,
posted that information.
hey, my
So
brother, my brother.
everybody share this
Yes,
after we finish with this. Share it, please,
we
so that people will be informed, because there's a lot of information
yes.
that Patrick puts in the chat every week. We just appreciate him so very much. He's also done some work for Georgia Association of Black
Hmm.
Elected Officials.
Well, we appreciate Patrick,
Uh
because
huh.
getting the word out is the biggest
Now,
thing.
all that jazz, which is Saturday, January 28th.
Yes,
I hope to see all of you there.
in your
You get
best
to
gear.
dress up,
You get
you
to
get
dress
to
up. You get to
dress
see
up
people.
sparkly
You
and
get to look
all of
good.
that. And they have the dance floor out
Yes, yes. We'll have the
too.
dance. We'll have the
So
dance afterwards with AJ the DJ,
yeah,
like I said.
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
fun.
It's
It's fun, and
wonderful.
I'm excited. I haven't been to an all that jazz in a couple of years.
Ladies who will be attending, don't forget it's clear bags,
Yes,
right?
yes, yeah.
Clear bags. Bring your little things in a clear bag, and that policy has been in place. It's in place all over at sporting events
Right,
Correct.
and
right.
all this. So you got to get used to bringing a clear
Well, we
bag.
want to be safe.
We want to be safe. I
We
don't
want to
want to
have
have to
fun.
pull out my stuff because you pull out your stuff. We don't want we don't
We don't
want to
want
have
no
to do. We
problems.
don't want any
N-
problem. But that's just the policy. The
And
clear bag
and the
and
auditorium recently was renovated, right? I mean, it's going to
oh
be
yes, it's
it's
beautiful.
so beautiful
Oh, it's
inside there. And don't
beautiful.
forget that copper dome on top of the auditorium is one of those
Right.
pieces of artwork created by black hands here in Macon, Georgia. Those invisible hands. I got to tell the
Yeah.
story. So
Yeah.
for Black
Oh,
History Month, we got stories to tell at the Tubman Museum.
right.
We will start up. We have our living legends, the ancestors speak. And so that's going to be Saturday, February 4th, 11th, and 18th. And we have Nick Arnett. He does a wonderful Little Richard. He's going to play Little Richard again this year. We have Dr. Butler. She will be playing Harriet Tubman again this year. We're so
Mm-hmm.
excited to have them come. We have Umi, who's one of our drummers, who's recently in the movie Possum Trot.
Mm-hmm.
She is going to play Ruth Hartley Mosley, one of our premier civil rights leaders and and changers here in Macon, and we want to
Mm-hmm.
support this Ruth Hartley Mosley Women's Center. We'll have someone playing Charles Henry Douglas on one weekend. We also will celebrate. We're going to have the rededication and opening of the Macon Trailblazers,
Uh-huh.
featuring trailblazers here in Macon who are such as Elaine Lucas.
I was going to ask you that. Who's playing Elaine Lucas?
No, this is we have an exhibit opening. We don't have anybody playing. Look, I couldn't find anyone to play Elaine Lucas. She's an original.
That's true.
I
They're
want
picking
to,
at me. They're
but
picking at me.
we do have an exhibit opening on February 19th, and that will celebrate our Macon Trailblazers such as Elaine Lucas, David Lucas, Thelma Dillard,
Okay.
Herbert Denard, and then we're going to celebrate people such as Osby McKay.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mr.
celebrate
McKay.
Nathan Black,
Uh,
Dr. Black, and a host of others. And we will be honoring the late musician, artist, and Macon griot Wilfred Stroud. We will present his
oh
wife with
goodness.
the Legion the Act of Courage Award from the
Yeah.
Tubman Museum. And so that will take place. And I don't have all the details, but I know
Right.
it is
Right.
Sunday,
Where
February
can
9th.
people go to get all of that information?
They can
Get a
go to
list.
www.tubmanmuseum.com. It will
Okay.
be uploaded by the close of this week.
Yeah, and I think Patrick's got
Oh,
you covered
yeah,
on there,
that
on there
Patrick.
too.
He's
And we need to also include all of those events. Have we included
yes,
them
ma'am.
under the ML King
Yes, we'll add that
on
to it.
Macon Bibb County? And then you go in to that site, find the King icon, the picture of Dr.
Yes,
King,
yes,
click on it, and you
yes,
will be redirected to a listing of the events that
yes.
are sanctioned and supported by the Martin Luther King board.
Now
So,
there's one more thing that I hadn't talked
okay,
about.
okay.
We the Tubman is very proud to announce, and I can't give any more information than what I'm giving right now, but we do have the Perry experience coming to the Tubman Museum here
Oh,
in Macon. And man, I'm
oh.
about to jump out my seat, man.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have him come back and do a little bit more. Maybe you put us on the calendar for 2 weeks.
Okay, 2 weeks. Yes,
2
ma'am.
weeks, when it's 2 weeks,
2 weeks.
we'll talk a little bit more.
And I'll have
Because
more
I think I've
information.
got the DA next
That's
Wednesday.
good too.
She's got to come and talk about, folks are after her. They stay behind her, and she's doing a magnificent
Amen.
job. And
She-
anybody who says
I am.
she's not, look,
I want
you're
to thank
pitiful.
our DA. Our DA has really been hands on in terms of working with
Oh
our youth
yeah,
at the Tubman Museum. Working during the summer, she read stories to them. She sponsored our event, King Day. I mean,
she's everywhere.
and also
She is.
the Centennial Committee for making Bicentennial Committee. They also sponsored too. But
Right,
she is
right.
everywhere, and she's accessible.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
if you
When we have you to come back, we'll have the Macon 200
okay,
committee
yes,
to come back too.
okay,
Someone celebrating Macon's 200
that is going to be
years.
so exciting
And
too.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of events planned. Now, folks sit and they complain about Pastor, about not having anything to do.
There
Look
is
at all of
plenty
those
to do in
things
Macon,
that
Georgia.
are the Tubman, the Douglas Theater. We got to have them on too. Um, is that the music I hear? I know our time is not gone.
You
Maybe,
need,
maybe is it?
I'm about to sponsor you another 30 minutes.
Oh my goodness! Oh,
This has been fun.
anyway, we're gonna keep on. Look, there's a lot of stuff to do, a lot of things to do in Macon. The ML King board is in the process of putting together a gospel concert,
Okay.
and we're gonna have different nationalities,
Oh, that's
different
good.
age
I
groups,
love
but
that.
we're gonna spotlight the young people. There are so many folks of African descent
Yes.
living
In
in
Macon.
Macon.
Yes.
There are Hispanics, it's just all kinds of folks. So
we have
we're going to
everything.
spotlight youth groups
I like it.
performing, and we're planning that all of these different things that accentuate and celebrate the ideals and the works of our forefathers,
Yes.
especially Rosa Parks, Dr.
Mhm.
King, those folks that we know about, but some folks that we don't.
Oh, that music.
Get your calendar. We have the calendars, monthly calendars. Stop by EL High School and pick that up. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you again next Wednesday for Ask Elaine.
Ask Elaine.
Ask Elaine.
She knows.
Connecting the community through gospel.
The new 107.9 FM, W300EB,
Macon and WDDO 980 AM
Perry.
Macon.
Come on, put your hands together. Everybody make